according to me, is networking. Okay. Today, you have a variety of segment in shipping and logistics. The most challenging and inspiring segment for me was commercial. Throughout my career, I was in commercial. And then you get to learn more experience out of those challenges. So freight forwarding is always a learning process, grow along with your team. That's in tandem with. And understanding the nuance of the business in today's culture, how it could contribute for everyone to survive in this market is also a challenging one. So here because its market is revolving, traditional method of business, today everyone are into every segment. Today you walk into any forwarding company, they do multiple activities. Whether it is a small company, mid-size or large company, according to their potential, they are doing their business. So for us, it's a big, very grown company. You have to find solution. That's where you are meant for. So I feel this role gives a lot of challenging success. It doesn't solve any purpose. You will have to get into the problem. You have to understand the nuance of the situation and give proper solution. So that's when you get repeated customers also, reaching your cargo on time. It's okay. It requires a daily, it's not something you sow today and expect a result very next day. Everything you'll have, every day you'll have to nurture it. Something that you say something to your team, it is something you ignite inside them. How that happens how they perceive you. Okay, you will have to live by action. You have to prove by action, not by something you preach and you expect your team to follow. You have to live by it. So how that comes, I want to choose one among you as a leader of this organization because you know the pulse of each employee here. So he asked to select one among yourself, but I have my own reservation. You select yourself. I was like a new for this branch. It was shock of my life. I was barely 6 months old in that office, knowing nothing about, not much about shipping, other industry. It is very simple and very understandable even for a layman. If you have open-minded and compassion, learning things, because today the IT industry is evolving in any segment, the AI and the automation. So if you are going to be in a traditional method of working, you will be obsolete in no time. So you should always not only relate it to your own subject. Some of the cardinal attributes, according to me, is integrity, your professional knowledge, and dedication. If you have these three attributes, paranoid, or they live in the tomb of fear, but they don't understand the hidden treasure in it. When I say the hidden treasure, your growth. Sometime back, I quoted my own story. Companies are looking for promising sales executives. So I want them to take up the challenges and you will be no longer withstand in this market because sales has taken a different dimension altogether. You cannot look at one point of view. Okay, today I will go and meet customer. I looking forward for a business. There are various measures in which you will have to adapt yourself. When I say different dimension, their KPI thoroughly. You need to know your job roles, your JD, so-called. Without that, today people fail to see the bigger picture, that you have to participate in the management vision and mission. Without your participation, don't always think that my role is constrained to 9 to 6. There is one person, the branch manager or the general manager, his job to think. Today people stop thinking. Everyone should think. 10 hours, 12 hours, but his subconscious is awake 24/7. He not only works for himself or his family, he has to work for the employees, he has to work for the stakeholders, he has to work for the employee's family.
That's it.
So, or do not consider this industry only for survival. You have to get into this industry only if you have a passion. Because when I say passion,
Welcome to today's Spotlight. We get to meet the inspiring individuals behind the screen of the Logistic episode. And today's episode is sponsored by the Look For Intern, an exclusive platform for the internship in the logistic industry. If you're a fresher looking for an internship in the logistic industry, or you're in a company looking to hire interns in the industry, the right place is Look For Intern. Today we have Mr. Kanuji Rao, General Manager at Goodrich Maritime Private Limited. Hello, sir.
hello, good morning, and thank you for having me here today.
So I would like to start by asking you, as growing up, what did you want to become? And as you are here as General Manager in the logistic industry, growing up, what did you want to become?
Well, I started my career way back in 1996 when I joined a travel agent. That was my first real step into service industry. Back then, I did not realize how this going to shape up my journey in logistics. But when I look back, I can confidently say the initial learning in travel industry was a real good foundation for me, right from customer handling, coordination, and the ability to deal with people at the different backdrop. It was a real learning process, and all said and done, it gave me a real strength throughout my career.
Okay. So was this career in the logistic industry like a deliberate choice, or it just happened with you?
Yeah, as I said, my initial choice was not logistics. I started my journey in travel agent, like international domestic ticketing, and thereon, it was a brief time. I went on to join Singapore Tourism Board for a while. During my tenure, unfortunately, I developed an issue with my spinal cord. So doctor advised me to go for a surgery. So I was bedridden for 6 months. So once I recovered, I want to choose some other industry, but not travel agent business, because it was more of a desk job. I had aspiration to do something beyond desk job. So that was the time I was just discussing with a friend of mine who was working for Jetaway that time in airport ground staff. So usually all these ground staff, they have very good networking with elite people who travel frequently, like they do meet and assist. So one such customer of his was the managing director of Reliable Freight Forward as part of Indev Group. So he mentioned about me, and he said, okay, ask the gentleman to come and meet me. So that's how I got entry into shipping. It was in 99 or 2000. So from there, not looking back, I have continued my journey in shipping and logistics.
Okay, that's an amazing story. So I guess you get to say that in a lot of times. Okay. So can you mention us some standout experience and achievements you had throughout your journey?
See, I started my shipping career with Reliable. It's purely a ocean product company. I joined the company in Tirupur network market as a sales executive. After spending a fair amount of experience, I joined another company. It's a Seahorse Group. It's called Omega Freight Forwarders. There they do more of sea plus air. So there I got to understand the in-depth of air freight. So again, more knowledge on air freight. Then comes a company called IAL Container Line, where it was a different dimension. They were more into NVO operation. And also they were offering total logistics business. So there you had a combination of NVO and then total logistics, and also into CHE and transportation. So I got in a 10 years of time, I got to learn in depth of the industry in ocean product, air product, NVO business. So from there, most of my journey was in NVO operation, like a box operation, we call it as. So that's how my journey in shipping and logistics in the last 25 years.
Okay. So you in the 10 years you gained experience with freight forwarding, CHA and VOCC. So what was the passion you were going towards? What did you want to become?
See, the most catch in freight forwarding business, according to me, is networking. Okay. Today, you have a variety of segment in shipping and logistics. The most challenging and inspiring segment for me was commercial. Throughout my career, I was in commercial. I mean, that was my foundation in shipping because that's one area the commercial, the most of the elements of shipping revolves through your commercial because you need a customer, you need a business. So your customer faces a lot of challenges which been passed on to you, and then you get to learn more experience out of those challenges. So freight forwarding is always a learning process and most challenging aspect for me. So that was a passion for me to get going in this networking is what I feel personally is my strength.
Okay. So you started your career with outbound sales and commercials. So what was one of the trickiest thing for you to crack?
See, when I started my journey, I was relatively new. Okay. And I joined a company in Chennai. I was given 1 month induction thoroughly. Then I was asked to go to Tirupur to do sales. Those days, unlike these days, you cannot identify a customer just getting into a company because most of companies in Tirupur, they never used to have a signboard, first and foremost. Okay. How do you identify? They used to have the carton boxes stacked in front of their organization. So we used to go road by road, identifying where all you can identify, look for carton boxes. That's how you'll have to, because 25, 6 years, it was barely anything, but business was plenty. Okay, it was more of a prepaid shipment than nomination. So you'll have to go door by door, knocking, asking for business. So one such business clicked through my relentless follow-up, which gave me a breakthrough within a span of 5 to 6 months, yielding tremendous revenue for the company. For example, I don't know whether we will be able to make that kind of a profit these days. It was like $300 to $400 for 20 and for 40, 400, 500. And the volume was very, very encouraging, like 40 containers, 30 containers, all prepaid shipment. That gave me a breakthrough. So that was my milestone, I would say.
So can we think that, that was your encouragement towards the industry?
Absolutely.
Okay. So talking about your path, so coming to currently where you are, so what's the most rewarding thing about your current team and your current job?
Current team, I work for a company called, as you said, Goodrich Maritime. It's one of the versatile logistics company in India and overseas. They're mainly into NVO business and offering total logistics and market leader in certain product like ISO tank, flexi, special equipments. The most challenging aspect in today's business, as far as we concern, is the motivating your team and expecting a large amount of return out of their promising role. Here, not only my company, today everyone on the same footpath. Okay, one thing, you will have to make your organization grow along with your team. That's in tandem with. And understanding the nuance of the business in today's culture, how it could contribute for everyone to survive in this market is also a challenging one. So here because its market is revolving. It's not like those days you do one traditional method of business. Today, everyone are into every segment. Today, you walk into any forwarding company, they do multiple activities. whether it is a small company, mid-size or large company, according to their potential, they are doing their business. So for us, it's a big, very grown company. So here we need to keep up the tempo of the your team, and as well as you should understand the vision and mission of the organization. It has to align along with it. You cannot have two direction. You should go along with your management view also. So that way it is always a challenging. Every day it's a challenging, because every day we face various issues related to shipping, and because the problems are as big as ocean. Okay, so you have to find solution. That's where you are meant for. So I feel this role gives a lot of challenging for everyone, for me especially.
So, as you beautifully mentioned, the problems as big as ocean. What keeps you motivated throughout the day?
See, I am a person who focus on problem than person who created it. That can be dealt separately. See, when I say I'm more fond of my strength is problem solving. So, if, for example, today you never know what problem comes up. Two things in problem. One thing is you get an opportunity to solve it. Okay, and when you solve that problem, how your team uh, uh, per se, how they perceive out of that solution. Okay, so whenever there is a problem, I first get into the problem, try to solve it without giving any second thought to it, because it gives a lot of experience. Just by doing or measuring only your success, it doesn't solve any purpose. You will have to get into the problem. You have to understand the nuance of the situation and give proper solution. So that's when you get repeated customers also.
Okay. So, how do you get inspiration for your leadership style? What is your personal philosophy or motto, the value that you follow?
See, motivation is as important as reaching your cargo on time. Okay, it requires a daily. It's not something you sow today and expect a result very next day. Everything you'll have, I mean, every day you'll have to nurture it. And according to me, motivation is not something that you say something to your team. It is something you ignite inside them. How that happens how they perceive you. Okay, you will have to live by action. You have to prove by action, not by something you preach and you expect your team to follow. You have to live by it. So how that comes, for some it is innate nature, leaders. For some it comes through the experience. Okay, I feel for me it is through experience. So leadership, it comes to me automatically. Maybe I can quote an example. When I joined my first organization way back in 99 or 2000, I was barely 6 months old in that organization. That's when sometime back, I said I cracked one business. 6 months later, the branch manager who was serving in that company for quite some time, he has rendered his resignation. So my managing director, he flew down from Chennai to identify the next leader for that branch. There were about 20 odd people. Okay, so one evening he asked everyone to assemble. He said, I want, rather bringing someone from outside, I want to choose one among you as a leader of this organization, because you know the pulse of each employee here. So he asked to select one among yourself, but I have my own reservation. You select yourself. I was like a newcomer in a school, sitting in a front row, looking at back, because all the seniors were standing backside. I was so eager to know for myself. So I was just looking back and uh, more enthuse and curiosity to understand who will be the next manager. So each one were spelling out different names. He collected all the names. He said, I have one choice. I don't know whether you all will accept. So he said, I want this gentleman, Kanojirao, to be the next branch officer for this branch. It was shock of my life. I was barely 6 months old in that office, knowing not much about shipping and nothing about leadership. But the observation, what as a leader he had within me, the belief, I was took by surprise. And it was shock of life, not only for me, for the entire team. How this guy is going to do it. So that's how my leadership started evolving. From there, throughout my career, I was in the management field, not looking back. So 6 months was barely I served as an executive. Thereafter, having given that opportunity, I got more interaction with the top management. You understand, you pick the positive and negative and the learning spirit from each leader. So I had tremendous learning. So that motivates me even today. So that's how I built my leadership quality.
That's absolutely inspiring to be picked out, right from there when you start. So, talking about all that, more than 3 decades of experience that you have, what are some of the hard and soft skills that you think are necessary for the industry?
See, first and foremost, as I said, the skill when it comes, shipping is not a complex subject, unlike other industry. It is very simple and very understandable even for a layman. If you have open-minded and compassion to be in this industry, okay, you don't require very challenging graduation or degree to pursue in this industry. The basic common sense, understanding capacity, and little skills in knowing your customer and understanding their problem. So here, the problem or the challenges or my philosophy is that the skills matters. One should be good enough in networking. Okay. And people should be having their eyes and ears open and be a knowledge seeker. Because any industry, you get to know anything new every day. So you should not be narrow-minded. Keep learning things. Because today, the IT industry is evolving in any segment, the AI and the automation. So if you are going to be in a traditional method of working, you will be obsolete in no time. So you should always not only relate it to your own subject, even out of your subject, keep yourself learning things. So these are the skills. Your general knowledge should be at par with market. I think you will agree with me, because any industry, you need to know what's happening outside the world also. Because today I'll tell you, when you go and meet a customer, you don't only talk about your own business. You will have to talk about other areas also. Okay, to keep him active in the conversation, dialogues. Today, I have seen many salespeople. They just step into a customer, they talk about their company, and they ask some question about their client, and they end the conversation. It shouldn't happen that way. You will have to elaborate your conversation. How that will happen? Only if you have more knowledge to talk to your customer or get to understand what he understands the market. Okay, so he will be inspired with your questions, your in-depth knowledge. So he will be satisfied, okay, I am with a safer hand, who understands, who has the knowledge, not only his business, but also the market. So knowledge seeking is what I feel is one should have these days. So this is the main skill according to me.
Okay. So networking and studying anything and everything, that'll be useful.
Absolutely.
That'll make them remember you.
Exactly.
Okay. So would you like to share a few advices for people who are starting fresh and wanted to move into leadership role just like yours?
Leadership, it has got to be a good leader. You need to have a few attributes.
Okay.
Some of the cardinal attributes, according to me, is integrity, your professional knowledge, and dedication. If you have these three attributes, rest all will definitely fall in place. Okay, gaining knowledge, knowing your company, going in depth about other things, it's all part and parcel of your business. Today, I cannot or I will not say that everyone knows everything. It's through experience, but these attributes, it's not only will give you a good platform, that will elevate yourself to the next level as a leader. And for today's upcoming generation, I would tell them always think out of box. When I say think out of box, today many I have in the last few years I have interacted with many pass out graduates, especially from B school.
Okay.
The moment I ask, what do you want to become? Sir, I want to get into some shipping company, do this, do that. I've hardly heard from people saying, sir, I want to do commercial. I want to get into marketing side of shipping. Today, the younger generation are either paranoid or they live in the tomb of fear. But they don't understand the hidden treasure in it. When I say the hidden treasure, your growth. Sometime back, I quoted my own story. The moment I gained one big shipment, I got the elevation in the management. Okay, I was made as a branch officer. I do not know how this kind of experience many people would have undergone. So, sales is not something you have to be scared enough. Okay, today, not only in shipping or logistics, any industry per se, the first point is business. Okay, you need business to survive. Who will bring that business? It's not management responsibility to bring in business. They can create an atmosphere, they can create vision and mission. But ultimately, people down the line, they should focus on building a business for the company. Especially this younger generation, when you doesn't want to participate in the challenging role, or you want to be composed with the documentation, operation, customer service, these are all anybody can do it. If you're looking for a growth, sales is the only area you can achieve. And at this juncture, on behalf of all my shipping fraternity, I request the younger generation never have any skeptical or fear of getting into commercial. Today, this industry is need of commercial people because we speak to many a fellow person in this industry. Every day in and out, we talk. This topic comes up. Do you have a salesperson whom you can recommend? Okay, not only with my company, I would say out of 100, 90% of the companies are looking for promising sales executives. So I want them to take up the challenges and see the hidden treasure. Once you start feeling the success, you will never ever go back. Okay, so my humble request to all the youngsters, take up this challenge. Industry will definitely take care of you and you have a bright future if you take commercial. So this is my piece of advice for today's generation.
So talking about, people coming into sales. So how was sales different from back in those days and how it has, changed nowadays?
See, unlike these days, those days were slightly easy.
Okay.
Because in shipping, you have two aspects. One is nomination business, one is free hand business. Nomination is something what buyer nominates his forwarder to handle on his behalf. The free hand shipment is something your shipper pays and he has the control. He can decide whom he can appoint. Those days, the free hand shipment was by and large was more in numbers. Say like 70% was free hand shipment, 30% was nomination. So those days, it's more of a rate factor. Of course, service also matters, but then rate factor, your infrastructure, everything. But today, it is different because, as I said, the evolution of your IT, all those stuff, you got to have a different perception for sales. If you're going to do traditional method of sales, you will be no longer withstand this market because sales has taken a different dimension altogether. You cannot look at one point of view. Okay, today I will go and meet customer. I looking forward for a business. There are various measures in which you will have to adapt yourself. When I say different dimension,
So you are a person who comes with a lot of inspiring stories about your life. So is there any book that you found profoundly impacting?
there are plenty of books, autobiography of many stalwarts in the industry. I want to pick one autobiography that is about Mr. Lee Iacocca. He was a renowned automobile expert who has developed the Ford Mustang, okay, into a profitable business. He was at his peak in Ford. One fine day, he was fired, okay, at the age of 53. I don't know whether 52, he was fired from Henry Ford. Later on, again, there is a learning. It was a setback for him. At that age, getting fired, who was in a promising figure in US, that too with the Ford. He was a president of Ford. Later on, another automotive car company, Chrysler Automotive, they have picked him, knowing his strength in automaker. He was given a position of CEO, but Chrysler was not doing so well. But with his restructuring, with his business knowledge, he turned bankrupt company into a positive making company. So Lee Iacocca for me was a great inspiration. And at this point of time, I would like to quote about a movie also, Pursuit of Happiness. I don't know whether this generation people would have very, very inspiring movie for me. Will Smith. What are the challenges that he has faced in his life? And later on, he joined a financial broking company, knowing ABC of the industry. Later on, with his dedication, he learnt about that industry, and he went on to become a successful financial broker. So this movie and that book is very close to my heart always. Even today, those who join my company as a fresher, I always ask them to watch this movie. The first day, I said, you watch this movie and then you talk to me tomorrow. So this is my inspiring book and movie.
Okay, thank you for sharing that with us. So what are the strategies that you use to stabilize your positive mind under pressure or stress?
See, strategy is something that you keep evolving day in, day out. Okay, because the market, the industry is evolving day by day. So the strategy is something I remember. I again want to quote an incident which happened recently. I went to a MNC company sometime back. He asked, Kanoji, can you bring your team for a cup of coffee? Let's have a discussion because I'm seeing you for several years, but I need to see your team also because in your absence, I deal with your team also. So I went with battalion of my team to his office for a cup of coffee, about 5 people. We had a lot of chit-chats. During the conversation, he asked one of my colleague, have you achieved your budget? He said, not really, sir. We are just halfway mark, a long way to go. Do you have any strategy to accomplish your budget? No, sir, but somehow because she was relatively new to that industry, she said, not really, sir, but we need to achieve the target. At one point, he said, Madam, look, what you just mentioned is your wish. Your wish is not a strategy. You need to have a clear strategy where and how you want that numbers to roll around. Okay, not merely by having a wish, yes, I want to do, but how? You have to apply your mind. You have to do some homework to achieve it. So, always people have a wrong notion. Strategy is something that we are willing to do it. It requires a lot of math, a lot of calculation, a lot of foresight, and the your knowledge. That will happen only if you are aligned with your company's vision. You understand each employee in the organization, they should understand their KPI thoroughly. You need to know your job roles, your JD, so called. Without that, today people fail to see the bigger picture. Okay. See, for example, I am a customer service. I feel this is my job. Okay. I do 8 hours job and then I go back. But they don't take part of management vision, which is not a good sign at this point of a time. Okay. Gone are the days where you do 9 to 6 job. I always urge and keep telling my own team that you have to participate in the management vision and mission. Without your participation, don't always think that my role is constrained to 9 to 6. There is one person, the branch manager or the general manager, his job to think. Today, people stop thinking. Everyone should think. Because today, people are the organization or the management looking for people who have the analytical skills. Once you stop thinking, you will stop surviving for any purpose.
Okay, welcome. So, thank you so much for sharing that with us. So, do you have any mentors or role models, has created shape in your career, and how do they influence?
Honestly speaking, I don't have any mentors in my life, but I have a lot of inspiring leaders whom I have come across within the logistics industry and out of my industry. When I say out of industry, I have great inspiration or admiration for Tata family, Mr. Jahangir, Mr. J.R.D. Tata, Mr. Ratan Tata, because they are not just an entrepreneur, they all are visionaries. Because today we need more visionaries. We have a lot of entrepreneurs, but visionaries are very selective. Within shipping and logistics, there are plenty I would say, but I cannot take everyone's name, but I can spell out few names. One inspiring personality whom I would consider is Mr. TVN Narayanan Kuti, chairman of IAL Container Line. To brief about his achievements in a nutshell, he was a banker till at the age of early or mid 40s. Banking job is a glorified job those days, even today also, but those days it was so promising. He shared his story, his inspiration and why he got into that business. Later on, from banking, he ventured into a logistics business. This I'm talking about in early 80s or so. Okay, he went on to become an entrepreneur in shipping and logistics. Not only becoming an entrepreneur, he had a great vision at that point of time. He was a pioneer in NVO business and few other module as well. Some of the industry which we are talking about today were Greek and Latin at that point of time. For example, warehousing and 3PL activity. Today it's something upcoming area, but 30, 35 years ago, it was hardly very few people were into that industry. Okay. And container fabrication. He not only shaped up one particular area, but he created an empire for himself. He had, when I joined that company, IAL had 45 branches in India alone. Can you believe at that point of time? This I'm talking about in 90s.
Oh, okay.
Okay, he was having branches across India and overseas also, and his networking was phenomenal. That was one inspiration, and then comes the industrial stalwart, Mr. Xavier Brito of Endev Group. Again, he also had a very humble beginning, and later on, he went on creating his own dynasty in shipping and logistics. Today, there are various new innovation that he has created for himself and for the company and for the industry. He started as a customer's brokering, and today he is one of the stalwart in the industry. And I would definitely take the names of my managing directors, Mr. Venkat Raman and Mr. Gopal Ramakrishnan. They also, again, they started this company 28 years ago. And today, because of their visionary thinking, they have created a dynasty in this business. And they have created some of the product. Today, they are market leaders. The one such product is liquid logistics. Carrying your liquid in ISO tank, in a flexi bag, your hazardous and non-hazardous. 20 years back itself, they have come up with this idea. And today they have a tremendous market pressure. And today they have close to 6,000, 8,000 ISO tank, which is plying between all the countries. And the one of the product is special equipments to carry your over-dimensional cargo. And the other one is CIS product, the Commonwealth of Independent State. So these are exclusive product. We are market leaders in India and also overseas. So these are some of the leaders whom I admire. One thing I want to point out here is that today I have great respect for all the entrepreneurs inside shipping and outside, because today it's not easy to run a business.
Sure.
Okay, you have a lot of sacrifices, dedication to it. The role of an employee is 9 to 6 or 10 hours. The employer is the one who works physically 10 hours, 12 hours, but his subconscious is awake 24/7. He not only works for himself or his family, he has to work for the employees, he has to work for the stakeholders, he has to work for the employee's family.
That's here.
So they face a lot of challenges today. So I really admire each and every, whether it is a small size, mid size, large size, any employee per se, whether it is a transport, CHA, logistics, freight forwarding, 3PL, or outside business. A big salute to everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much for sharing that with us. And as we are talking about the innovations in the business, so can you share what the South Indian market looks like from a freight forwarder's point of view?
South Indian region is always a diversified market in the country as far as shipping and logistics is concerned. It has got a different industrial cluster. For example, automobile machinery from Chennai, garments from Tirupur, made-ups from Karur, electronics from Bangalore, Karnataka, and seafoods from Kerala. So we have a mixed cluster. And when it comes to freight forwarding, we do have a lot of challenges. When I say challenges, in terms of disruption, the freight disruption, Recently, you would have heard about the trade impact created by the US, which is a real setback for the country as it is. Today, I have spoken to many people, especially in the garment field. They have manufactured crores worth of garments, but they could not export because of the duty or because of the trade imposed by the Trump 50%. In addition to that, today, the freight forwarding, there are a lot of newcomers into this industry. I would say a proliferation happening in the industry. That is also one of the not very healthy, I would say. See what happens, to put it in a nutshell, today we manufacture, the car manufacturer, they produce the car. If there is no enough and more buyers, what would happen? They have to drop the rate. The quality has to be compromised. Likewise, today the market has not grown that big, whereas the service providers have grown in a multifold, creating complete chaos in the market. When the large amount of service providers are there in the market, there are a lot of challenges for people who have already been in this industry. The industry as such, still a lot more to grow. When you compare China, India has to give a lot more attention to the exporters to grow. All MSME, all the manufacturing segment, today they need more help from the government. Okay. The one sad thing recently I come across, during my recent visit to Coimbatore, I happened to meet one of the industrial expert, a senior most expert. He was doing import and export of textile machinery. It was really worrying to hear from a person who's been in this industry for the last 30 years. He says the upcoming generation are quite not confident to get into their family business. The reason we ask why, because there is a lack of, or there is a lack of encouragement from the government sector. One such example he just mentioned to me. Sometime back, during the busy hour, a group of people from sales department who entered into his office, I think they came from Tirupur, claiming that they have to pay some 20 lakhs to the government. They all were frozen because he says, my company, my bookkeeping is, I would always encourage and I always have a positive note on my people who has that bookkeeping capacity. So there is no chance that these kind of lapses would have happened, but the challenges which came in the busy hour, they just received the notice and they made all the officials to wait in the office and they were cross-checking. Sadly, they found the number which was mentioned on the notice was 20,000. The officers who carried that notice, they have not read that notice by themselves. It was so embarrassing for them as well. But they were happy that that bookkeeping solved the entire thing. But then the moment when that such shock came to us, it was frozen. So likewise, every day they face challenges. Today, shipping cannot go forward if the importers and exporters are not taken care well. We need them alive in the market. If there is no business, there is no shipping. So the government have to protect them because shipping industry is depending on that market. So that would be my advice.
So I can see that you actually get to work. You say that you have to read about everything. I get to see that you do a lot of groundwork.
Exactly. That is very, very important. Knowing your customer, knowing the ground, you need to know your field. You cannot just get into your war field. You have to make preparation.
So we've come to the almost end of the interview. So I would like to ask, what advice would you give to the upcoming generation who's passionate to start their career in the industry?
My simple advice: if you want to create a footpath in logistics and shipping, do not consider your degree, or do not consider this industry only for survival. You have to get into this industry only if you have a passion. Because when I say passion, we as the existing companies, we have a lot of expectation from the youngsters who want to step into this industry. Because at times we also feel sad for the youngsters who come into this industry without any vision. Just because they've completed degree, they want to place themselves into this market. That doesn't work, because there is a large gap between the reality and what they study in this industry. Today, many youngsters whom we speak, and they give us their output. When I ask, what do you want to do? Sir, I want to do this, that, but they have no vision, clear path. As I said in the beginning, when we ask, do you want to participate yourself in marketing? They are frozen. They're freezed. Sir, is there anything that you can offer me where I can do a desk job? Because for them, whatever investment they made for their education, they just want to multiply through the job. But this one area, only if you have passion, you can survive. So I want to advise people, have passion for your work, and this industry has a lot more to offer to you. So that's what my advice, simple advice.
So thank you so much for being here with us today. You've shared your inspiring stories, your journeys, and your book suggestions, and your advice to the younger generation. Thank you so much for sharing and taking the time out of your day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's the end of today's Spotlight episode. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did with all the inspiring stories. So if you'd like to tune in for further more episodes, subscribe to our channel, like, share, and we're very happy to hear the point of view of our viewers. So please drop your comments. Thank you.